practice, DeVonta?
It was good.
Was it what you expected?
Yeah, I mean, coming out here, just getting back into it. Feel like individually I could have did a little better on some things, but first day, just getting back into it, just getting my mojo back.
Looked like you went against Slay a lot in the team part of it. I mean, how challenging is it to go against someone that's, you know, a proven veteran at that spot in this league?
I mean, that's the type of things you want. Just come in and go against guys like that, just to see where you at, just test your skills and things that you've been working on in the offseason.
How tough is Slay? How tough?
Slay's he's a great player.
Do you prefer that, though? I mean, you want to go up against the best. You feel like that's the best way to get better?
I feel like going against anybody on our defense, you're going to get better just because of the mentality and mindset that this team has. So, yeah, most definitely.
These past 6-7 weeks, how have you spent them?
Working. I mean, just perfecting my craft, doing the things I need to do just to stay in shape for the season.
How's your chemistry been developing over this offseason, even with your quarterback, Jalen Hurts? I mean, do you feel like it's kind of going back to college when you play with him a little bit, or do you still feel like you're still trying to get into that rhythm?
Still trying to get in that rhythm. Haven't really done much together. I mean, a couple times we got together, but I mean, we're still building. I mean, it's just first day of training camp, so just kind of getting back into it, but it's going to come.
But having that background from college, how much does that help out here?
Yeah, it can only help so much. I mean, we both have grown so much. It's things that we've put into our game that we just have to put back together.
How has Jalen changed since you guys were in college together?
He's the same person. I mean, mentally, his game, he's a whole lot smarter, but I mean, he's the same guy that he was in college.
How much of an adjustment is it for you going from college to the NFL, and how long do you think it might take you to feel pretty comfortable in this offense?
I mean, football is football. I mean, it's not too much things you can do different. I mean, in college, it was just no huddle. Here, you're in the huddle, so I feel like that's probably the main thing, just getting used to being in the huddle every play.
Last time we talked to you, you said you were coming out of your comfort zone. How have the relationships been in the wide receiver room and your relationship with Aaron Moorhead, just learning from him?
Ever since I stepped foot here in Philadelphia, it's been all open arms. So, I mean, everybody's welcoming me in, and, I mean, I feel comfortable.
What about the chemistry, though, with so many young guys among that receiver?
Just everybody knowing that we're all young, we all can help each other, we're all learning from each other.
Is that going to allow you to ascend to a leadership spot easier, do you think? The fact that everybody is so young?
I feel like everybody has a part in leadership in the receiver room just because everybody's so young. So everybody's leading in whatever way they can just to help everybody.
The ever-important Madden ratings came out recently. Did you see where you stacked up?
I mean, yeah.
What'd you think?
I don't play Madden, so.
You don't play Madden, huh? What'd you think of the SB, man? Big boy Dan.
I mean, it was a fun experience. Something that you don't think of as a child that happens, and when you get there, it's just like you're just grateful.
You got a lot of awards, man. Every time you turn on the TV, you get an award.
Bring that suit with you to Philly?
Yeah, it's with me.
DeVonta, we were just talking to Fletch. He said, Kenny Gainwell said his first practice was really fast. You played at Alabama, the highest, obviously, level of college. Did you notice a big difference in that level, that speed level?
Like I said, it's the first day, so just you haven't been doing nothing like this for a minute, so just getting back into it is always going to be fast. Just kind of getting your legs back under you, just kind of getting back in that football motion.
Are you specifically playing one wide receiver spot, or are they going to just throw it all at you? And how much are the spots interchangeable within the scheme?
On this team, I mean, as a receiver group, everybody wants to play everything, so everybody wants to be able to move around. As a player, you want to be able to do as many things as you can, so not just me, but everybody is doing different things, just so the more you can do, the more you're going to be on the field.
Is it a lot, though, for a rookie to come in and have to learn all different, all three of the roles? Or do you feel like it's something that, having been in Alabama, you can handle?
I mean, football is football. At the end of the day, you learn concepts, not specific spot. So when it comes down to it, you know what everybody's doing.
There's obviously a lot of high expectations for you this year. How do you manage them, and how do you deal with them?
I mean, just keep the main thing. Know why I'm here, focus on the task at hand.
DeVonta, with the wide receiver room being so young, like, are there veterans that you lean on for advice, and if so, like, who might they be?
I mean, just anybody that I can get any little detail from. I mean, like, just coming off the field, I asked Slay what he's seen from me today, things like that. He told me what he's seen. So just any little piece of advice I can get from anybody, I'm going to accept it.
This was your first.
What did he say that he saw from you?
Just a couple of my releases, things like that. Just stuff to help me overall my game.
Hey, DeVonta, this was your first time around Zach Ertz. Have you gotten a sense yet, or is it still too early to know what the offense would look like with him in it?
I mean, the offense is the offense. I mean, you have multiple guys that can do multiple things. I mean, if Zach there, we're all happy. But, I mean, overall, it's a team. So, I mean, no matter who's in a position, I feel like everybody's going to be successful.
Hey, Smitty, we saw, after some plays and even after practice, Jalen gathering around you guys. How would you describe him as a leader?
I mean, he's a great leader. Anything that we do in practice that we feel like we didn't have a chance to get right, I mean, we go back and we do it again. So, I mean, he's a great leader. That's the type of guy that you want leading your team.
It's year 9.
Year 10. Feel good to be back, especially being back, somewhat back to normal. And just felt good to be back with the guys running around, first day of practice of the season. So, I'd say day 1 went pretty smooth for us.
What do you like about the draft pick that came in on the line, Milton?
I think he's a good addition to us. He's coming in, he's came in, and he's learning. I mean, he's watching BG. They kind of play the same position, so he's watching BG, and BG's just kind of helping him. Even in the drills and watching them in team and just coaching them up. I mean, BG's just doing what a vet should do for a young guy. Just help him be the best them.
Fletcher Cox just said there was like a 90%, trending toward a 90% vaccination rate. As one of the leaders on this team, have you talked to the guys about that and the importance of vaccination and so nothing happens as the season goes on there?
I mean, I look at any of that stuff as a personal decision. I can't make a decision for you. You can't make a decision for me. So, I mean, us as adults and as grown men who have the right to, to make our own decision when it comes to things like that.
We saw some 3-4 looks today. Obviously, you've played in that kind of scheme before. Is that something you're expecting Jonathan to mix things up, use different fronts?
I mean, I just do what I'm told at this point right now. So just go out and be disruptive, have fun, no matter where they put me at on the field. So, just day 1 and, just keep it simple at day 1. That way you can get guys flying around and, just getting used to the scheme of defense that we're playing, which I think everybody's happy about.
Fletcher, what have you seen? I know it's early, but even going back to OTAs and stuff, what are you seeing from Jalen Hurts on the other side? Is he different than he was? Those 4 starts. Are you seeing him improve at all? What have you seen from him so far?
I mean, honestly, I'd be lying if I told you, but I mean, I really wasn't here during the spring, so I mean, I can't speak on that. I mean, today I can say he moved around a little bit, threw the ball around pretty good, and just one of them things. It's the first day, nobody get in a panic on the first day of training camp.
Fletch, what are your impressions of Stevie Nelson? What kind of addition do like that?
What's up, B? Say what now?
Stevie Nelson, what kind of addition like him do for the defense?
I can't hear you.
Stevie Nelson.
Oh, no, that'll be good for us. You get another veteran on the other side of Slay, and I think it's a good addition. And like I said, he came in yesterday, came today, just working. He obviously, it's his first time, here, learning the scheme, and, it's going to take some time for him to kind of adjust, get used to everybody in the locker room, which we always welcome, any new player in this locker room with open arms, So it'll be a good thing for us.
Fletcher, you say you do what you're told, but you are the centerpiece of the defense historically here. What do they need to do to maximize you in this scheme?
Hey man, I'm just here. I just do what I'm told. They ask me to play left end, I'm gonna play left end, and I don't control those type of things. So I'm just from this point, I just do what I'm told and just keep it going from there.
From what you've seen of this defensive scheme so far, what has stood out to you?
I mean, so far, I've been the 3 technique every time, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Hey, Fletch, it is a change, obviously a new coaching staff after Doug had been here for 5 years. You've been here for a long time. Any added excitement with that change? Just make things a little bit more sort of anticipatory or anything of that nature?
I mean, it's NFL. I mean, things change. Get new coaches and everything changes. Sometimes the culture around the building changes. But I will say this: I love playing for Doug Peterson. He was a really good head coach, and things happen. That's the business part of this game that that I understand totally. And but with Nick being in here, it'll be a different culture. I mean, Nick's flying around and just bringing a lot of energy, and Doug did the same thing. With the new coaching staff, new culture comes. Things are different, and no head coach is the same.
Given what you've seen so far, how has Nick done kind of taking control of the building and getting the respect and buy-in from his players?
I mean, he's doing a good job. You know, I think he's doing a really good job of connecting with the players. And as a player, you want that from your coach. You want that coach to connect with you. You know, you want him to understand where you're coming from, and still have to understand that he's the head coach of this football team. You know, and he does a great job of that. You know, making sure guys are where they need to be, making sure guys are on time. You know, those are things that you want from your head coach. Don't mind calling the guy out, you know, when he's wrong. And from that perspective, you get that respect. You know, and vice versa.
When there are so many veteran leaders on the team, like you and Jason and BG, what does it take for a second-year player like Jalen to become one of the leaders?
You just have to understand, you know, you just find a guy that's been around in the locker room for a long time, and you follow that guy, you know. But if you can't follow the guy, you go find somebody. You go ask questions, you know, like what have you done to be around here for so long? You know, what's the little things that you've done? And you know, those are the things questions I used to ask Trent Cole when he was here. You know, Cullen Jenkins, my rookie year. You know, the guys like that. You know, Darryl Tapp. You know, those guys. I still keep in touch with those guys to this day. So, you know, those guys taught me how to be a pro, and that's the things you want to teach young guys, how to be a pro, because they've been playing football their whole life. But when they get to the NFL, you want to teach them how to be a pro.
Given your background with Kenny, did he seek out any advice from you? And if so, what did you tell him at a training camp?
Man, I just told him, you know, I asked him, I passed him just a minute ago. I said, how was your first practice? He said it was fast. I said, well, if you think this fast, wait till the first actual game of the season, you know. But, you know, obviously it's his first day. You know, just for a guy, I think he took some reps with the first team, and I'm pretty sure that was fast for him, you know. But I told him over a period of time that it'll slow down and it'll come to him.
You mentioned how fast it is. How vital then is it for these guys, these young guys, to have these preseason games? You know, they're going to have exhibition games this year. I mean, now think back to your rookie year. How important was that for you to get that taste?
Well, it's good, you know, for guys to get those preseason games in, because, you know, I mean, last year we didn't have it. And now, you know, you got even guys from last year, they'll get a taste of preseason, and that kind of prepares you for what you'll see. And instead of, you know, going out the whole training camp and just banging on each other, you'll actually get to go against somebody.
Fletcher, when you look at this team, you have this new staff, and a lot of people maybe on the outside say this team is rebuilding or retooling, however you want to describe it, but you've seen it all in your time. Do you think this team can surprise a lot of people? What are your expectations for this team?
We just got to go out and not beat ourselves, you know. We just got to go out and play team football in all three phases of the game, you know. And, you know, after you do that, that's when you go back and you kind of question yourself, are we giving enough? You know, but I know this team right here, I mean, we're from Philly and we fight, man. You know, no matter what's going on, no matter who's on the field, we know that the guys in that locker room going to show up on Sunday and play the game. And we worry about that, you know, once the clock hits zero.
How about you personally? What objective do you have for yourself in year 10?
So what now?
For you personally, what goals do you have for yourself in year 10?
Man, just you know, being better than I was last year. You know, being consistent. You know, just being just take more control of the locker room. You know, just grabbing guys and grabbing more guys and just leading those guys. You know, and obviously going out on the field and just taking over the game.
Fletcher worked out with Deion Hodges during the break. What was it like getting after it with him and his guys?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, Deion, I've been training with Deion since 2012. You know, nothing's changed. You know, I know I know his expectation of me, and that's to always, you know, to let me know that, you know, hey, you're not gonna cruise off into the sunset. You're here to work. You know, and that's the respect that I have for Deion, and he's gonna push me to, you know, and get me uncomfortable and put me in situations that I like being in.
When you're in a team setting and you're asking questions, how does Nick Sirianni address the entire group and kind of explain himself as opposed to what you're kind of used to? Any different?
Yeah, I don't think it's too different. You know, obviously in the meetings and as you've seen in press conferences, Nick's a guy that's got a lot of energy, and that's pretty much every time he's in front of the team. And then, like, you know, most of the time you're asking questions, it's like an offensive team meeting, or, you know, it's kind of more football specific, like trying to iron out details. And, you know, he understands, you know, what he wants out of the offense across the board. So he's got all the answers. You know, you ask him a question, he'll explain anything you want. He's very open to questions, and you know, I think he's great in that regard.
Hey Jason, the league has incentivized players to get vaccinated, so it's become a team issue in some places. How have you guys navigated that? And how we said earlier, you're around 90% as a team. Was that critical for you?
I'm going to decline whoever's phone calls up here. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Zach.
Was that something you guys found to be important from a team to pass that threshold?
I mean, I'm not. You know, I don't know. For me personally, I try to stay out of, like, you know, we want to be at X percent or whatever. I thought the league did a good job of trying to educate guys and provide people with information to make an incredibly personal decision, right? And we're all just out here trying to, do what we think's right for ourselves and our community. And there's going to be people with differing viewpoints on that. But like you said, Howie touched on the fact that we're at 90% vaccination right now. The building is largely pretty safe for everybody involved right now. And we're going to continue moving forward, adhering to the protocols that the league puts forth, that the state put forth, that the city puts forth, and try and facilitate a safe environment like we did last year. Last year there were no vaccinations, and we largely had a season that was pretty safe and went off, largely well. Hopefully that's not the case this year. Hopefully we have you guys in front of us here would be great, and fans over the stadium would be awesome, and hopefully this year's a lot different. And we're just going to take it day by day in regards to that. But
Jason, Zachary wasn't here in the spring. He's here now. He was apparently working out with guys before camp started. I don't know if you were one of those. But
sure.
What have you seen at him since he's been here? Have you had conversations? Obviously, I know you won't go into those in detail. But what do you see out of Zach? Does he seem the same? And does he seem happy to be here and be here once the season starts?
Yeah, well, I think Zach, obviously he's made, his, what he wanted this offseason and everything kind of publicly known. But, as his teammate and as a friend, try and stay out of that. A lot of that is inherently very personal. But he's always a great teammate. Whenever he's around, whenever he's talking to guys out here today, he's a professional. He's going to be out here trying to make himself better, trying to make his teammates better. So, I understand there's a lot going on behind the scenes, or was, but in terms of being a teammate and everything like that, he's been pretty much same old, great teammate, great tight end, and a great friend. So I'm happy to see him out here. I just want what's best for him moving forward.
Jason, obviously you went through what you went through on the offensive line last year. How comforting is it to look to your right and see Brandon and everybody's back? Isaac obviously a little banged up, but for the most part everybody's healthy. How does that feel for you as that leader of the offensive line?
Well, those young guys, I don't want to take away from the young guys winning last year. They did a great job being thrown in there, but Brandon Brooks is a special player. Everybody knows that in this city especially. So it's great to have him back out there. A guy that has all the tools physically you could want. He's mentally a smart player, great leader. It's obviously makes my job a whole lot easier playing next to a guy like that. Lane Johnson, the same thing. Got a great battle going on at left tackle. We have a lot of really good players, great depth. Isaac Seumalo's out. One of my favorite players to play next to. But Nate Herbig, I got a lot of reps with him last year. He can step in, and we feel confident in him too. So, we have a lot of really good talent up front, a lot of good moving pieces. Obviously, we just drafted a kid really high in Landon who has a lot of promise and potential. So we, I think I speak for everybody that we're really, excited to see what the O-line does this year.
What are you seeing from Jalen Hurts as far as like his command, his overall knowledge and stuff? Coming off of last year where he got some experience, but now it seems like to be the guy, obviously.
Yeah, Jalen was really, for a rookie last year, an incredibly mature young guy. He's, you can tell that he's been a leader at multiple levels before this, and it's just kind of his natural way of going about the game and the plays and the huddle. He's got a very, a confident ability, and he breeds that into his teammates. We enjoyed the time that we spent with Jalen last year, and so far he's picking up right where he left off. Obviously this is a brand new offense with new calls and new terminology, so there's a lot of learning going on. But as far as Jalen's concerned, it's pretty much the same mentally. Just has a lot of really, really good intangibles that are fun to play with, and he's a great kid. So it's a lot of fun.
Jason, how intrigued are you to see how this left tackle battle plays out?
Yeah, you're always enjoy watching that. There's going to be two guys that have a great opportunity to, seize a position, a starting position to, potentially, change their lives, right? Right now they're in the NFL, and that's great. You end up starting left tackle, sign big money contracts, realize your dream of playing and starting in the NFL. I mean, those are the storylines that you really love watching in training camp. And there's going to be a number of those, not just at left tackle, but across the board. There's going to be guys that nobody knew who are going to open eyes, and there's going to be guys that people are down and out on that surprise everybody. And so you always love watching how that plays out. And that one's obviously really close to home in the O-line room. So I can't wait to watch both those guys go out there and battle it out.
BG was talking about in relation to the vaccines that last year, because of the rules, you couldn't work out with each other and you had to keep distance.
Yeah.
And already there's been a difference in that. Obviously, you talk a lot about how important the camaraderie is to you. Do you already feel a difference this year with that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we can keep going in this direction. Obviously, with the Delta variant creeping up and all this, who knows, right? You just got to kind of take the protocols day by day. But just having tables back in the cafeteria, being able to sit down and eat and talk to somebody, which was something you couldn't do last year. So, you don't realize it, but then once that comes back, it's like, oh my God, this is like one of my favorite things about playing football. So, it's pretty awesome.
Jason, you've been through this a few times now. When you have a new head coach starting training camp, what are the biggest challenges to blend everything together and bring this team together?
I think that it's just a collective, everybody buying in and listening and doing your job and trying to grow. Everybody coming here with the right mindset to get better. And, Nick's done a great job of setting the standards, setting what he believes is important to be successful in this league as a teammate, as a player, as a coach. And now it's on us to go out here and work on it every single day. And, I think we have great leadership in this building. And we have great coaches. We have great players. And, now we're out here together trying to work on it and, bring everything as close together and, put it all in the right direction.
Jason, you're 33 now. I mean, how much more challenging is it now to get ready for each camp mentally and physically?
Yeah, I mean, it's harder for sure. I think, you have more physical, things that bother you on a daily basis, or you got to warm up longer. I always hated going in the training room. Now you kind of got to go in there to keep your body right. But it's what the deal is now. I think it's not like, I think you just kind of go about it year by year, day by day, and largely I feel pretty good. I felt great out there today, and just going to try and keep ahead of everything. Make sure that my body's being taken care of so that I'm able to, last through a whole training camp, a whole season, everything like that. And, just got to monitor all that stuff just a little bit more personally.
As a follow-up to that,
part of that side, though, we talk about the physical side, but the mental side of a new coaching staff, a new system. I know Staller's back, but what about the mental side of kind of resetting the button at 33?
Yeah, I mean, this is my fourth head coaching change in the NFL, and I've had 3 in college. I've played and had this happen a lot, and I think the biggest thing is you just come in with an open mindset, ready to what are we doing, how are we doing things, what's the new terminology, what do I have to do to help guys understand what we're trying to do or the new things, so obviously there's a lot of new words, a lot of the plays a lot of times are real similar. They're just called something different, or maybe there's like a little bit different wrinkle, and you're just trying to communicate to make sure everybody's on the same page, and we're all going in the right direction. I think that in the grand scheme of things, it's not that different than every year. It's just there's so much new things that you're really trying to iron out, that everybody's on the same page, and overstate communication, overstate the new coaching points, so that we're ready to go come time the season.
It's past years, some mental aspect of things. I don't know how much you've been paying attention to the Olympics, but there's been a conversation, surrounding mental challenges at a high level and high-level athletes. How important is that to you? How important is that to the team to be on top of things like that, especially with such a young roster?
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I don't really know about the Olympics, but I think that you just try and, as a player, you're just trying to mentally, as a player and as a guy that as someone who's been playing for a while, right, a veteran player, you're trying to, set the standard and communicate with guys and make guys understanding what we're trying to do. I don't think that, the mental side of it, to the extent of the Olympics, that's something that's super personal and that, everybody kind of has their own struggles with that. So I think, I don't know how to comment on that.
Past year, some of the veteran players, yourself included, would have maintenance days throughout the summer. Is that something you still plan on doing, and how do you navigate that this year?
What do you mean? I'm sorry.
There would be certain practices where you guys wouldn't go, some of the older players, to maintain your body, but it was also a scheme you guys knew. So is that something you navigate differently this year?
Well, that's all up to the coaches and the sports science and the strength departments. It's a tight walk. Obviously, the whole goal is for everybody to be healthy and out there and available on game day, and we're all getting better, and so we're the best team possible out there. That's the goal, right? And trying to find a way to do that. There's a lot of guys that put a lot more time into what's the best way to do that than I do. So I think you just try and do what the coaches tell you, do what the strength department tells you. If that's certain guys being scaled back on certain days, then you kind of you just listen. I think that for me, it's tough because you always want to be out there, you always want to be going, and that's how I've been good my whole career, is by putting forth the work and being out there. But at the same time, if they're telling me, you need to do this to be, healthy all year, you kind of got to listen and pay attention to that.
Does it have a different feel with, or what does it feel like not having JP here for the first time? I mean, we're assuming.
You never know. He has a. Yeah, Jay. Everybody knows about his ability to play. He's eventual Hall of Famer, probably the best player I've played with. Just a tremendous player, but he never really got the credit he's deserved from a leadership standpoint. He might not have been the vocal guy, never really liked talking to you guys much, but he loved talking to young guys. He loved staying after practice and working with young guys. He loved talking in the weight room, he was around the building constantly. To have a guy that's been around that long, to see how much he put into it, how much, not just physically, but mentally, how available he was to the organization and the building and the teammates, that's rare to find, especially an older guy. So we're going to miss all of that, and you're not going to be able to replace it. So, yeah.
Hey, Jason, do you ever think about your legacy at this stage of his career? You were just talking about Jason. Like a lot of young players look at you now, like you guys look at Jason. Do you ever step back and start to think about your legacy, or do you try to stop that?
I just try and go about work and business, and I think at the end of the day, maybe I'll look back on it a little bit more. I think that your legacy is what you do day in, day out, and who you are day in, day out, and how you go about work, how you go about your business. So I'm just going to keep doing that, and at the end of the day, it'll be what it is.
Fletch said that Milton's starting off at end behind you. Do you think that's where he'll end up? What have you seen so far?
You know what? I think with training camp, you want to try so many different things, see what you got, see what people can do. Milton, that boy came in looking lean, looking fast. I'm excited, man, like for the rooks, like Teron Jackson. I'm telling you, them boys, man, I'm just trying to give them everything I got as far as the information, how to be a pro, and just get your regimen now on what you do every day and just come to work one day at a time.
Brandon, if feels like it's 100 years ago, but you went through your own contract situation and battles, didn't know maybe if you would be here, whether you'd be traded. With Zach Ertz kind of going through that over the last year, have you had advice for him? And is there any surprise to see Ertz out here, even with his blonde hair?
I'm happy that that everything got worked out, whatever. Because I know Zach come ready to go every day. And he's a great talent, and I just know that he know what it takes. And so with him, all I can say is just keep being you. I know the business side of this thing is different than who you are sometimes, and I mean you got to take care of your business, and then so you can be able to perform out there on the field. And I'm just happy that he's still here.
PG, have you been able to get to know Milton pretty well? What can you tell us about him?
He's cool, laid back. Really don't say too much. I mean, he say a lot now because I'm gonna poke at him. I'm like, we gonna be in the room, man. We got to get to know each other. So, but it's been fun though, because I think he's been opened up for those 3 weeks we was here, and it's just all about developing trust. And I think he's starting to trust the guys in the room. And I mean, I think it's just gonna be easier as the days go, and we'll see how it goes when adversity hit, because we go through that, and you see what type of team you got.
Do you have a number in your head of how many more seasons you think you can play and how many more you want to play?
You know what? It's a one season at a time right now. Right now, man, I feel good. People call me old man, but my thing is I'm gonna show you old man, so I try to keep that chip on my shoulder. But I feel like as long as I stay to my diet, keep working, I don't want to go out. I mean, if I have a lot of injuries or whatever it is that start to happen, I'm gonna be real with myself. I don't want to be broken up where I couldn't play with my kids. But right now, man, my goal always been 15. If I can get there, I get there. If not, I'm not gonna be mad at all. I mean, I love my career on how it went so far, and it's just all about. I'm like, man, I'm trying to get me another ring before we get up out of here, and who knows, I might go out like Selleck. We get another ring.
What are your first impressions of the coaching staff and the differences from Doug Peterson's staff to Nick?
You know what? It's a lot younger, but I think the energy. I mean, I feel like I'm a bunch of me's out there. I love that, the positive vibes. I love that a lot of guys. I mean, we buying into what's going on, and man, I think that I was able to have two great coaches, because Doug was a great coach. I love everything about what Doug brought to the table, and I'm loving what Nick is bringing. I think that it's not fake, so that's one thing that I love, because you can read right through all that. When it's fake, it's not fake. I think that we gonna see when all the bullets start firing and y'all start getting on us a little bit. If it ain't up to par, let's see how everybody react. But I think so far so good. I'm excited to see what the future holds for this team, and see what when it's time, when we get out there in preseason. Let's see how it goes for the first time we strap up together.
Hey, Brandon, in these past few years, the schemes so far, Gannon's scheme, what's going to be different for the defensive lineman?
I feel like you're still gonna be able to play fast, but it's you just gonna have to know your stuff. What I love the most about what they do, they hold you accountable. You get called out in meetings, but it's in a way that it's not like trying to get on you, but it's just in those moments where we're not trying to have y'all on us, and we not making that play out there, and we mess up out on the field. We try to make sure we make those corrections so it don't happen in the game. And so I love that that they hold you accountable. Even at my age, they call on me. I got to stay on point, in meetings and making sure that you know what's going on. So I think that's always a great thing, and it's always good to hold people accountable. And that's what I like the most, that even in team meetings to your own position coaches, and even as a team defense, team offense, they try to make sure that you always on point, making sure that you taking care of those little things. So.
Hey, Brandon, in these past few years,
are you finding that the coaching staff is leaning on veterans a little bit more than in the past? Do you guys have pretty much a lot of input into what goes on? I think
I do. They do a good job as far as asking our opinion on things, and I mean, of course, they're gonna make the final decision, but involving us and just seeing, is this something that you think the team will like? If not, what can we do to work in the middle? I mean, it's really cool. We're trying to build a family environment. And I think that with him coming to us, I mean, that's what's cool. It's good communication. And, I mean, I want to be able to relay his message just as much as he want to give his message out. So I think relying on the older guys like me, Kelce, Fletch, and then even some guys that's even like right in the mid, that's veterans now that's coming into their own. I think it's good, just to keep everybody on the same page.
In these past few years, it's been you and Barnett as the starters. Sweat has been playing well these past few years as well. How do you see that shaking out on the side opposite you?
Just we'll see when you out there on the field. You know how I go. When you out there in the game, if you making plays, you gonna get out there. And so I mean, it's just good competition. Every time I got to make sure I stay on point myself. I mean, Sweaty, I know he's coming. He's the future. I mean, you got guys that I can see it, but they got to go get it. I'm not gonna make it easy for them. You know what I'm saying? But I love that Derek. He came in. He ready. I feel like injuries definitely slowed him down to where, people got the question mark on him. But I know he's tough. He's gonna go out there and give you everything he got. And so hopefully this the year for him because I know all about it. I'm trying to, you got to have a breakout year in order for you to be here. And so.
Let's wrap up, Brandon. We got DeVonta Smith next.
Howie said the roster is like 90% vaccinated. What was the process? Did you guys talk about that as a team, and what was the decision like for you?
You know what? We try to leave that for people that wanna. I mean, like that's your choice. I feel like when you see what vaccinated can do and what unvaccinated can do, you start to lean on, let me get vaccinated, because you don't want to be able to not use certain things. You don't want to be able to not be able to lift with your teammates. I mean, because I feel like last year that was the toughest part, probably for Doug, because Doug was good at, being together. That 6 feet was kind of messing with him a little bit. And so as a team, you don't really get to have that bond as much when you can't do certain stuff together, or you can't do it in a way that you used to. You got to be over here to talk to a guy other than up close, and it's just a difference. But I think that hopefully we get to 100, because it is what it is. We in this time in our lives where we gotta make sure we safe. And for me, I did it for my kids, because I mean I ain't want to bring nothing in the house, and I mean this stuff ain't nothing to play with, Mm-hmm.
Jalen Hurts, a lot of the younger players, especially younger offensive players, talk about his leadership ability. As a veteran leader on the other side of the ball, you're not around him a ton during the day, but do you see that? Have you recognized that he has that ability to lead this team?
Oh, yeah. I've seen him during this offseason. So I worked out with Miles, and I seen, when Miles wasn't in, he was with Jalen them, and some of the stuff that they was doing, I was like, wow, who put that together? Oh, Jalen like this. Oh, he trying to, I mean, man, he already done showed me in the offseason. So I can't wait to see what he's like when he get out on the field, and what we doing every day, one day at a time. It's not going to be perfect every day, but I think that, it's a start. I think even him, seeing him out after practice with the guys, and, I mean, man, you need that. You need those guys to do that little extra that's going to get you in those moments where you already been there before. We done this plenty of times over and over and over, and now it's just like practice all over again. And in those moments when we got to have it, just like practice, we going out there and we getting it done. And so I think it's gonna pay off for him. He just got to stay the course.